Okay, so here is Rip 5 by the Boston Celtics. Now, what we're going to do right here, we want number 5, our post player, someone who can finish well down low to get the ball under the rim. Everybody else is going to be spaced out wide. Now, we're going to have number 3 setting a screen for number 5, but it's not going to be your basic pick and roll. We're going to have a pick and pop here, and we're going to have number 5 come off the screen almost to the left as if he's cutting, directly to the basketball, but he's going to cut straight to the basket. So let's take a look at it here. First, we have our players kind of lined up diagonal from each other, almost like a straight arrow line. Same thing with number 4 and number 2. But number 3 is going to come over here and set a screen for number 5. Now, number 5 is going to come off that screen, but they're actually going to go more toward the middle of the court. So number 5 is coming off that screen, and they're coming right here toward the middle of the court with their hands up, trying to receive the basketball down low in the post. And what number 3 is going to do is they're going to pop. They're not even going to roll on this one, right? We want number 3 to be a smaller guard, maybe someone who can shoot the three-point shot, and they're going to pop. If they see an opportunity to pop over here, maybe they can get an open shot that way. That's what they'll do. If they have the opportunity to pop over here, maybe that's what they'll do. It depends, right? You can kind of read and react to that one. But, our main layup right here is for number 5. We want number 5 to get the ball down low. And the Boston Celtics do this quite a bit with Kristaps Porzingis. When we look at our example here from the Boston Celtics, we'll see that they often run this play with a guard screening for Kristaps Porzingis. So let's take a look at it again. Number 3 is setting that screen right here for number 5. Number 5 is kind of cutting this way, and then they're immediately going toward the middle with their hands up to try to get it down low in the post, whereas number 3 is going to pop, whether it's over here, to try to get, another option for a three-point shot. We have everybody spaced out except for number 5, who's going to try to receive that ball down low. Now, let's take a look at the Boston Celtics running this play. Let's take a look here at this being run by the Boston Celtics. Now, as you can see here, they lined up exactly the way we said. They have a smaller guard right here. They have Kristaps Porzingis at the three-point line, and then they have 2 shooters outside. Even though Al Horford's more of a post player, he can still shoot the basketball relatively well from the three-point line. So we had that initial screen right there being set for Porzingis. Porzingis is coming off the screen, and he is receiving the ball down low in that post position. Right, and as you can see here, we have Pritchard. He spaced the floor nice and wide, just in case there's an option there as well. And we'll see here this results, in a relatively difficult, by the looks of it, layup for Kristaps Porzingis. But again, you got the switch that you wanted, right? You got that initial switch. You might get a double team there. You might get, a shorter player on him. It might not necessarily be a wide open layup, but in that situation, Kristaps Porzingis got the necessary switch, and he got an easy 2 points for the Boston Celtics.
Okay, so this next play that we are looking at here was used by the Toronto Raptors for many years during the DeMar DeRozan era, the Kyle Lowry era, and the NBA championship Toronto Raptors era. And basically what you're going to have here are multiple screens, a few stagger screens being set, as well as an Iverson cut here. To get either an open shot or a wide open layup. So let's take a look at this in the diagram first, and then we'll take a look at it being used in an NBA game. So first, what we're going to have is basically a lineup of players right here and one player at the three-point line above the free throw line. Now, we're going to be getting to the ball to number 2, who's on the far side. And basically, they're going to be running through each stagger screen and potentially getting either a wide open layup or a wide open shot. Depends what you want to do there, what your strengths are with your team. So to start this play, we're going to have number 3 kind of cut hard to the basket, see if we can get anything going there. Most likely we're not going to, but you never know. It's just a good initial option to get the play set. As that happens, if number 3 doesn't get the ball, they're going to continue moving and move out of the way. So they're more of a decoy, if anything. But if we do end up getting that first initial look, then great. But what we're actually looking for here is number 2, who is then going to continue moving all the way around the floor and curl about right here. So number 2 is making that curl. But as that's happening, number 4 is setting the first screen. And then number 5 is setting the stagger screen. So we have 2 screens being set there for number 2 on their way over to the basket. You're either going to get an open shot here, or number 2 can continue moving, potentially get a wide open layup. Okay, so let's look at that again. Let's reset. So let's bring number 3 up here to the 3-point line. Let's bring number 2 back in our straight line. So again, we're going to start with number 3, looking for the basket. Can we cut right here? Can we look for it? If not, if we don't have an open layup there, we're just going to continue moving, right? As that happens, number 2 is cutting all the way over to the opposite side of the floor to about right here. But as that's happening, number 4 and number 5 are both setting 2 stagger screens on the way over for number 2. We're either going to get a wide open shot here or a layup for number 2. Now let's look at the Toronto Raptors run this play a few times back in the DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry era. Okay, so here is the play being run by the Toronto Raptors. So let's take a look at it here. So we're going to have Kyle Lowry as the inbounder. He's calling the play. He's getting things set up. And as you can see, we have that straight line here. Corey Joseph is going to be the one receiving the basketball today. And as you can see here, Terrence Ross is going to make that initial cut that we talked about. So let's take a look. As we see Terrence Ross, he's making that cut. And Corey Joseph's making his way around using both of those screens. Does he have a wide open lane? No, but he does get a lane to the basket. We'll take a look at it now with DeMar DeRozan. As you can see, he already just got screened on right here by DeMar Carroll. It looks like Terrence Ross, again, already made that first initial cut. Now we're getting the second screen for DeRozan. We get it right here. And now we're just going to get a wide open dunk there for DeMar DeRozan. Let's see if we can watch it one last time. So we're set up. The Toronto Raptors are in black and gold in this particular play. So let's see if we have that first cut here by Terrence Ross. Seems like they love to put him in that spot. Now we're going to have DeMar DeRozan making his way over, and he is going to get another layup, use that momentum for a layup. So even if you don't get, a wide open lane, it looks like you're going to get the necessary switches, with that combined with the momentum that you're going to have, having that player running through all the way to receive the ball, you're going to have, the ability to make a wide open layup. All right, folks, I need to quickly stop right there before we move into our next topic to mention that right now, 97.1% of our daily viewers are not subscribed to our channel. So that means if you are one of these people, if you are one of these 97.1% who are not currently subscribed but are watching this video, it would be greatly appreciated if you could take the time real quick to hit that subscribe button. It will help us continue to make content like this, continue to make basketball plays for other coaches, basketball drills for other players, and basketball, everything that both players and coaches and organizations alike can use. So again, if you could really quickly take the time to hit that subscribe button, it'll just take 2 seconds. It would be greatly appreciated. But moving on to our next topic. Now, the next play that we're going to look at is used by Steve Kerr and the Golden State Warriors. So obviously, we don't need to talk about the Golden State Warriors and their success as a team. We, totally understand. I think everybody knows that, they've been one of the most successful organizations over the last few years, as has Steve Kerr as a coach. So it was very interesting to look into, the tactical side of things on his end, because obviously he's had so much talent. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant, Draymond Green, etc. It was interesting to see him get creative a little bit with this baseline out of bounds play. And I personally really like this one. So let's take a look at it. It's basically going to be a screen for the inbounder. So we're, going to set up in a little bit of a decoy here in a straight line, but it's actually going to be a very simple play, just a screen for the inbounder. So what we're going to want number 5 to do, and I should say, number 1, like I said, because it is a screen for the inbounder, number 1 is going to be the person that you want to score the ball. So you might want to put maybe somebody who's a little bit better in the post or power forward, at the number 1 spot rather than, how we have number 5 right here. But number 5 is basically just going to, backpedal a little bit, stay wide, have their hands up, and get the basketball lobbed into them. And they're going to push off a little bit because you have to imagine that the defender is going to be standing between their man and the basket, right? So we can assume that the defenders will be here, right? They're going to be between their man and the basket. So what number 5 is just going to do is push off a little bit, hand up, left hand up. They're going to receive the basketball right here, right? As they pop out, number 4 is going to head over to screen for number 1. So number 4 is making their way over to screen for number 1, and number 1 is coming off that screen super tight, about right here. They're going to get the basketball there for a pretty easy layup. Now, it looks a little bit complicated on here because there's not a whole lot of space to go around. But, if you take a look at it with the Golden State Warriors, which we'll look at in a second, it does, make sense a little bit more visually. Let's take a look at it one more time. So number 5 just kind of popping out, with their left hand up, right? We're going to lob the ball into number 5. As that happens, number 5 should kind of square out to the basket a little bit. And number 4 is going to come over here. They can set the screen this way if they want. So number 1 can fake this way and cut over here, or they can come all the way around, set the screen right here. Number 1 can loop through it and post up at the basket. So pretty simple play, pretty easy. Let's watch the Golden State Warriors run it in action. Okay, let's take a look at the Warriors run this play right now. So you can already see they're lined up in that straight line. And Draymond Green, it looks like here, is already ready to push off and receive the basketball. So let's take a look at it. So as we'll see, Draymond Green pushes off, receives that basketball with his left hand. And we already have Steph Curry heading down there, screening for the inbounder, and we get that easy layup. Let's see if we can see another one. Here we go. So we have the push off there by Iguodala. He's receiving the basketball. And again, Steph Curry setting that initial screen. And we have a wide open lane right there for Gary Payton II. Pretty easy basketball play, but it makes sense. Can result in a very easy layup every time.